Ashley Martin, the leadership lady. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining me for a conversation about one of the topics, oddly, that I love talking about, and that's stress. Because I don't know, girl, have you faced stress in your life?
Who hasn't, right? Who hasn't? It is a part of life.
It is a part of life, right? And I think it's the degree in which we can experience stress and not let it overwhelm. I think that's the game, right? I mean, we're going to experience stress, but so how do we navigate through this life knowing that we're going to get some stress in our life?
Right. So it's one of those things, I call them managing blessings. It comes with stress. Managing good things, it comes with stress, but it's what we need to do is learn how to manage and minimize our stress. Yeah. So I put something together that has helped me and helped other people. And
yeah, well, that's what we're here to talk about. So, we were on a conversation. I was like, wait, hold up, time out. You talk about stress. You're the leadership lady. So in your day-to-day, everyday job, tell us what you're doing as far as, leadership is concerned.
Yeah, well, really helping and championing executives and employees, right? And just everyday people on how to leverage their skill set to improve their ways of working, to improve their operational efficiency, to fulfill their mission, to fulfill their vision. That's the work that I'm in. That's the work I'm in, helping equip people and empower them to be able to do that. One of, as we just mentioned, stress comes with that. Stress comes with anybody's territory. But when, an average person has a plate of responsibility, when you are a leader, you have a platter. And sometimes it's Zachary that makes the platter. No pun intended, right? Right.
Right. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So in your leadership training, I mean, we're talking about all things, but you're bringing stress into it because, like you said, we're just going to face it. So you have so kindly created a 20 ways to stress less. And I asked you, I was wondering, what are like the top 5 of those? And by the way, we're going to put the link here in this video so that you can go get the resource from Ashley. But what are your top 5 out of these 20 stress less tips?
Top 5. Number 1, breakfast is for champions.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Breakfast is for champions. How you start your day is so important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's quietly and reflective. I believe your reading time, your quiet time, and your feeding time are all important. And equally as important is what you feed yourself.
Yeah.
So you want to be mindful of that.
Absolutely. How do you start your day?
I say thank you. I start my day saying thank you most days. I'm human, right? I'm human. But, most days, probably 98% of the time, I wake up saying thank you.
That's a wonderful way.
Made it through the night. Here another day of purpose and fabulousness and greatness, whatever it is,
Yes.
Rest days even count because I'm a big believer in taking your rest.
Yeah.
And I'm ashamed.
Amazing. So how we start our day. Tip number 1. Tip number 2. What's your second favorite tip?
The art of conversation lies in the listening. That is a quote by M. Forbes. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? And we want to listen first to understand, then respond. Somebody else say that. I can't take credit for that one, but I am sharing that one. Now, this is something that came to mind. We don't always have to agree when we're listening. We don't always have to agree, right? And awareness doesn't always mean approval. But when you learn how to listen to people, you are giving your chance a self to speak up. You're using your voice, right? For good. And you're giving people an opportunity to be heard. Because most people just want to be heard.
Yeah.
They just want to be heard of.
Oh, yeah. Listen, everybody's dialed into the same radio station. Do you remember radio stations? WIFM. What's in it for me? Right? We're all tuned into that. So, but we can be a great steward of a conversation. Yeah. If we take the moment to listen. Now, what do we do when we're on a Zoom call and we see that we have a hard stop and we want to say something, but we're listening. What do we do?
That's when you have to use your selective judgment. Okay. And sometimes things have to get tabled, but if you feel, and sometimes they have to get tabled, right? And that's when you go into a follow-up call or a follow-up session. And sometimes, there are exceptions. There are exceptions. Like, hey, I really need to say this. I'm really strongly impressed to say this. And, it'll work out.
I love that. I love this. I love this as a stress deflector because, you're allowing yourself to process too and let your nervous system sort of just, if something's coming up and you don't agree with what they're saying, but you're just listening and not reacting, you're allowing yourself that moment to regulate.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right.
Okay. Healthy breakfast. We're listening more than we're speaking. What's tip number 3?
Perfect segue. Process and pause before you perform.
Okay. There we go. We teed it up. Tell me more.
All right. Sometimes we need to step back and then we need to think and then we need to go. So that includes from, thinking before speaking, thinking before doing, right? Hey, let me give this a second thought. Should I really go here? Should I really go there? Should I really respond this way? Right. So process and pause before you perform.
So for me in my life, and I don't know, and I'd love to know how you learned this one, but for me, I learned that I'm an emotional buyer. And so, if somebody's girl, 2 years ago, you could have sold me anything. But today I'm like, I'm going to sleep on that. And when a cooler head prevails, check in and say, is this really truly the path that I want to take? So just know, folks that are coming at me in LinkedIn DMs, I ain't taking the first bait. Okay. But how did you get to this wisdom?
You know what? I think just I don't know if I'm kind of wired like that, but over time and other people helping me out with things, sleep on it, take sometimes. I am one of those people, if I have a list and I go to the grocery store, I stick to my list, but I also give myself a little bit leeway to like, hey, have an impulse buy. Maybe that's the teacher in me. We were trained to be very resourceful. You had to make a lot out of a little. And so I think that's a lot of where that comes from. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to stop, take a break and listen, take a pause. Okay. Tip number 4.
Filter. Not everything you see or hear needs to come in, and not everything you think needs to come out.
Oh, okay. Say more.
Well, we're bombarded by a lot of messages, right? I mean, things are everywhere, and then you have your own thoughts in your own head that you have to cipher and filter through. So it is important that you have a good life filter, whatever that is for you. You have something healthy, something that's good for you, and something that's good for other people. And so, again, not everything that you see or hear needs to come in. Like, hey, I heard that, I see that, I don't need to internalize that. And not everything you're thinking needs to come out. I thought that thought, you thought that thought, again, you're a human being, but that doesn't always need to come out of your mouth or, out of your pen or this, that, and the other. We have to learn how to filter.
Yeah.
And that takes time.
Yes, that does take time. Well, and it goes back to the pausing, the listening. I think if you practice those 2 things alone, I think this, where, the output doesn't need to come out, will start to, it would be easier, right? That's the muscle you'll start to flex. True or false, social media is not helping this tip. Like social media, they're going to let it come out.
It's going to come out. But you know what? Because we have to take agency and our own authority, right? We have to just determine as much as we can what we pay attention to, even on social media. With a regular TV, you can flip the channel. You don't like what you're seeing, you can turn the channel. You can turn the TV off. You can press mute, right? I would suggest the same perhaps for social media. You have to pay attention to what you're following, who you're connected to. There are even some features where you can snooze some things. So if somebody's being too negative for you, you can press snooze. You can unfollow. You don't have to disconnect. You don't have to unfriend them. You can unfollow them. You can snooze it for a little while. You can keep scrolling. But we have to take that agency and license for ourselves to say, hey, I probably shouldn't be feeding myself with this. Or right. I should be feeding myself with more of this. And so,
Yeah. 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 And you know what? And if you wanted to practice this tip number 4, go on to social media and don't comment. Just scroll.
That part, yeah.
So that could be, it could be an exercise to try this tip number 4 out. Okay. Bring it home, Ashley. What's tip number 5?
We want to take 10. Take 10. And take 10 simply means 10 minutes and seconds to debrief, to calm down, to take a brain break, especially those of you who are used to working in a certain workspace. And maybe you're at a computer all day, maybe you're at a certain station all day, maybe you're on your feet all day. There are people on their feet all day. Take 10 to sit down. For those of you who sit down a lot, take 10 to stand up. If you're inside a lot, try to get outside. Even if it's just peeking your head through a window to get some fresh air. Take 10. It'll do your brain a lot of good. After you work for a little while, it'll do your brain a lot of good. So take 10 when you need to.
I know when I was at my lowest, my stressed out, highest peak moment ever, the one thing I did was sat outside for the majority of the day to heal myself. There were 2 things I did. 1, I shut the laptop. And 2, I went outside for about a week to start my healing process. And I will tell you, from that moment on, you will see your girl outside, feeding the birds, just walking around the yard.
I love it.
After calls, I mean, even like you said, quick 10 minutes. Oh, just to breathe the air. What do? Do you step outside?
I step outside when I can. I like to walk, walk around the neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah. Those are, it's big. It's important. When I can work outside, I love to work outside.
Yeah. Ooh, blending the nature and the digital. Oh, I love that. Now, let me ask you this. When you're walking around outside for 10 minutes, do you have something in your hand or your ears?
It really depends. I try to step away from the phone because there's so much that, you're paying attention to. So I try to use that as a tech break. So sometimes I take my phone and sometimes I don't. I'm grateful for handy devices.
Always connected.
So it depends on what day it is. But sometimes I try to just have that be quiet time. Yeah. And then there are times where I need to use it a little bit more intentional. Like, I need to catch up on this. I need to listen to this while I'm walking. So
yeah. Well, and the beautiful thing about this, and I love all these tips. It's a personal journey. Find the ones that work for you. Use them in combination. But hey, you have 15 more tips. Can you tell the great people where they can find this document? And by the way, we'll also put the link in the comments.
You can go to www.leadershiplady.com and then you will go to the Learning Center tab. You want to click on the Learning Center tab, and in the resources, you'll find this free download called 20 Ways to Stress Less. And there's some
my gosh. There as well. Among other freebies too. So get there. So leadershiplady.com and you'll navigate to resources. Now, before we go in our cool little video, by the way, I just want to say thank you so very much. How can people work with you and who do you like to work with?
Oh, fabulous question. Well, people can work with me several ways. They can hire me as a life and leadership coach, right? 1-to-1 or group. Worked with teams before. They can hire me to do training, specifically on soft skills, or if there's something custom. They can hire me for consulting for program implementation. So if you have a leadership development program that you want to implement for your team, if you have a special project that you want to initiate or an event you want to plan, we can do that as well. And then, of course, there's speaking. I do keynotes and moderating and hosting.
Yeah.
Well. That's how we can work together. What was this? And who I like to work with.
Yeah. Who do you like to work with? Yep.
People who love to invest in themselves, invest in their people, and see the value of education, see the value of developing themselves, see the value of sharpening their saw. Those are my ideal folks. They're ready to go. They're ready to embrace the learning, ready to do the work that it takes, to improve and to be better or to maintain. Because some of you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
But it requires maintenance, right?
That's right. Sustainability. Yeah. Come on.
Right. Yeah. Right. And people are ready for transformation as well. So even if you're in a rough patch, because I love seeing people healed and restored as well. If you're in a rough spot, and you need that extra push to get through, the partner for that.
Awesome. Amazing. Fantastic. Ashley Martin, theleadershiplady.com. If you'd like to work with her, please, please, please check her out. Get that free resource, leadershiplady.com/resources, and pick up that free 20 ways to stress less. Ashley, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
And as are you. You're very welcome. Thank you.